What a busy day for the Denver Broncos, man, as they have wrapped up day 2 of the NFL draft. Rounds 2 and 3 are in the books, and the Broncos, man, there was a little bit of everything in this draft. They traded back twice, they traded up, they added a pick in the 4th, and then they added a pick in the 3rd round at the top of the 3rd. And the last pick of the 3rd round, we're going to have a full breakdown video of all the guys. So we drafted 3 players today when we were expected to get 2. Was Saivion Jones, the edge rusher out of LSU. And let me tell you guys something about this player. This is a little bit of a surprising pick, just because I was not expecting for us to trade up. In fact, I was recording a separate video, when it happened. So I had to stop that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to break down Saivion Jones. So you know what? Before I even say anything, why don't we just get right into it and talk a little bit about Saivion Jones? What is it they can do? What kind of a player is he? And why was he such a good addition to this Broncos defense? Now, in the first 2 days of the draft, the Broncos have drafted 4 players. They got 2 defensive players and 2 offensive players, 2 really good weapons for Bo Nix. But right now, we're talking about Saivion Jones. Here's why I'm so intrigued by a player like him. First and foremost, he played in LSU, a respected program in the SEC, and was very, very productive. And is somebody that has not only been productive, he's been very durable throughout his entire career, as you can see, and he's gotten better every single year. Actually, quite a bit better, to be honest with you. He's only 21 years old, so he's a young prospect, and he's still very young. Another thing that I'm a really big fan of with him is that he is actually he's actually 6'6", 280 pounds, right? So even though he's listed as an edge, he is going to be a defensive end on this Broncos defense. He is somebody that will rotate with guys like Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Malcolm Roach on that defense, but can bring a very, very, very elite pass rushing ability for somebody that plays that position, because he did play the edge in college. And obviously the versatility of someone like him that can play edge if you need him and play defensive lineman if you need him is extremely smart, because he gives you straight versatility. And versatility is the name of the game, not just in the NFL, but specifically when you talk about George and Sean Payton. That's exactly what it is that they got with a guy like Saivion Jones, because he basically gives you depth at edge and he gives you depth on the D-line. And that's something that you got to love. And I'm really excited to see what it is they do with him. Do they ask him to maybe add a little bit more weight, get a little bit stronger, because he's a little bit of a tweener. But I think he's going to be really good with his hand in the dirt, and he's extremely stout and very, very strong. In addition to that, he has 33.5-inch arms, 10-inch hands, a very long prospect. So he's got the length, the size, the weight. He is not a small guy by any means, and he had some pretty decent athleticism scores. I don't always necessarily worry about that kind of stuff. But what I do love, going back over here into the PFF rankings, is a couple things. First of all, he graded solidly against the run. His run stop rate of 7.5% was really solid. Mind you, he did play in a traditional edge type of a role, outside tackle, a majority of them. Over tackle, he did have a little bit where he was hand in the dirt, but I think that's going to be flipped come for the when it comes to the Denver Broncos defense. Here's what I love to see. All right. Yeah, he's not the biggest sack artist, right? He had 5 as a freshman, 3 as a sophomore, and 5 last year as a junior. 6 quarterback hits, which was the highest of his career. But look at this, 32 quarterback pressures. You got to love that. That is always, to me, such an important metric when you're talking about these players is, listen, you're not always going to get to the quarterback, but can you muddy it up? Can you force the quarterback to make a decision that he wasn't really wanting to make? And that's exactly what that number does. And 32 is very impressive. It's very, very impressive for more of a rotational guy in a way of Saivion Jones. It's going to be tough to not call him Sai'vion Williams, because we talked a lot about him as well. But I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of his game, of what the kind of juice and what the ability he has to be able to play for the Denver Broncos. And like I said, you're just adding strength to a strength. And this is kind of a 2-in-1, because I know a lot of us, including myself, really wanted for the Broncos to take a defensive lineman because of the upcoming contract situations and all that we've talked a lot about. Well, Saivion Jones gives you that option. It gives you the option to do both. And he's going to be able to be that, 3-4 defensive end, 5 technique that is going to be able to spell a lot of guys. But if there's going to be games where you start to get thin, maybe at edge rusher, which is probably your deepest position, he's going to be able to contribute there as well. He's very good against the run. So I think a lot of his game, he's going to be able to contribute fairly early in his career, but his ceiling is still ridiculously high because everything that you read about him, I feel like is one of those where he continuously gets better and he continuously has the ability to get, better and better year after year. Also, everything that you read about him shows that he's still a very raw prospect. He's an ascending prospect, somebody that is on the way up. So I'm a big fan of this. I think it's a really, really good overall pick, man. And I want to show a little bit of love to Andy, who's one of the guys that he was on the live a couple days ago. So you guys should know him from there. But he does unbelievable work when it comes to NFL draft prospecting and scouting and all that good stuff. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to show him a little bit of love here and pop up his Twitter feed. We'll go ahead and make this video big and we will play. But before I make it big, what he had said here was, I love this pick from the Broncos. A 4-3 defensive end with perfect size, toughness, and effort. The motor is always hot. He plays with an excellent feel for the game, and he has a huge ceiling. So notice, 4-3 defensive end. Even though we run a 3-4, he's going to be lined up as a defensive end. And let's go ahead and watch a little bit of film. You can see the arrow is pointed right there at him. That's just an unbelievable. Violent hands, nice little chop block, being able to show a little bit of bend, get away from me. And let me get to the quarterback. Absolutely swallows him up. And the burst looks special on that one. Here's another one on the opposite side. Just absolutely bullies the tackle. My God, look at this. So, you see a little versatility already. You saw the burst. You saw the ability to be able to, chop with the hands, bend around the corner, get the quarterback. This one, he's hitting you with a straight bull rush. He's taking him and just driving his ass back. And something that you got to absolutely love there. Again, hand in the dirt, quickness, bat the ball. If you're not going to get there, disrupt the play. That is as good as of a sack. Actually, it's better than a sack because it led to an interception. Now again, where do you see him lined up? He's going to switch over and just absolutely bomb these guys. That is absolutely, it's actually insane, the kind of violence and speed that he looks like a very big guy, but he doesn't move like a very big guy, but he's got that strength. Here he is taking on the tackle and being a stud in the run game. You got to love seeing that. Number 35, by the way, a horrendously ugly number. So hopefully he won't be wearing that, but you love how he, maintains the leverage, keeps the gap control, takes down. Again here, sheds the blocker and is able to make a big difference in the run game. And here he reads the run. He locks, right? They always talk about locking and shredding, right? So lock through, release, shred the tackler off, chase his ass around. And look at the effort, man. Go out there and finish. You got to love that. Shout out to Andy. It's the first time I actually watched that video. I watched it here live because I wanted to put something out. But you can see it. You can see that kind of juice. And what is it about Sean Payton's defenses, man? He likes to have guys playing fast, violent, and have really good motors. And he seems to have all of that. He's definitely a violent player, very strong for somebody his size. And at 6'6", 280, I love the versatility. I usually don't like the tweener type of body styles for a lot of prospects, but 280 is a good enough weight. It's a very solid weight. He can definitely add a little bit of weight if he needs to. And the fact that he's marked as an edge player, he played a lot of edge in college. You got to love the ability for them to say, hey, we can move you around all across the defensive line, and he's going to be an instant impact player. And because he's so good against the run, he's able to contribute right off of the bat. I think it's a home run pick for the Broncos. I love that we added another guy in today's draft. We got a threesome. We're going to have an entire video dedicated to talk about all of these dudes. And so check it out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And peace out. Go Broncos, baby.